Hi, and welcome to What's Next Wall Street. I'm George Alfredas, and this week we are talking stocks, the metaverse, crypto, and the new decentralized financial Web3 world around us, and essentially what all that means for traders. Dave is out this week, but I've got all the new hot trending products that everybody's talking about, using, and investing in. Plus, we've got Greg Krause, lead instructor at OptionsPlayers.com here with his expert analysis and insight to help you target investment potential. So the goal here is to provide you with education, information, and tips so that you're not out here trading recklessly. This ain't bingo, y'all. We want you to stack gains all day, okay? You can email us at OptionsPlayers.com or hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street with your questions and your comments. We can also direct you to instructors and experts over at OptionsPlayers.com, like Craig, who can help you come up with tailored trade plans. So do yourself a solid, and us too. Watch this and past episodes on the Options Players YouTube channel, or listen to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you hit that alert button so that you always know what's next on Wall Street. Another one bites the dust. Hey, it's not good news, though. Did y'all see this? ExpressJet Airlines is in financial trouble and filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The Atlanta-based carrier has flown as United Express and Delta Connection with over 450 planes when it was at its peak. However, operations have just stopped. Apparently, it's a trend. The world's second largest movie theater may file for bankruptcy in the U.S. Cineworld, which owns the Regal chain in the U.S. And while they say a voluntary Chapter 11 filing is not going to affect operations or its employees, Cineworld is blaming some of this whole bankruptcy business on the lack of blockbuster movies this summer. Excuse me? This was the summer of really good sequels. Hello, Top Gun, Doctor Strange, Jurassic World Dominion, Batman, Minions, Thor. All these movies made over $300 million at the box office. Top Gun made over $700 million. Doctor Strange made $400 million. So we might have to put the blame right back on Cineworld, which spent, you might remember, $3 billion acquiring Regal back in 2018, and then another $2 billion on Cineplex just a couple of weeks before we went on lockdown. Bad timing. And don't forget, Cineworld raised its prices to give customers more premium experiences. And I hate to say I told you so, but listen, I can get a more premium experience from Netflix at my house where I don't have to park. I can snack on Sour Patch Kids that I got at the grocery store for $1. The only thing I haven't figured out yet, though, is movie theater popcorn. When I get that figured out, but I digress. Okay, will all of this make shares worthless, or is there light at the end of the tunnel with a promise of a restructure? Greg, help me out. And do you know how to make theater popcorn?
I got you. The movie popcorn. So actually, until they go completely out of business, you can actually go to most movie theaters and just pick up the popcorn. Actually, as a joke, we have a really small one in town, and I don't know why I was in the parking lot in the movie theater. I have no idea. I was turning around for some reason, but I was there, and there was someone just walking up. Oh, I was actually looking to see what they had.
Clear it up, bro. You better clear it up. I don't know what you're doing in a parking lot, but
so I was actually there seeing what was on what was coming on with the kid, and then there's this lady who's just walking out with popcorn.
That's
and it was like
up.
At noon. There wasn't no movies.
Oh
she just went in there and got movie popcorn. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. We're done. I'm going to get some popcorn.
But serious. I mean, you melt some butter and you throw it on popcorn.
It's not the same. It is not the same. I've tried everything. Pop it.
You air
pop it? I got an air popper. It doesn't work.
I don't know. You just go buy one of the actual
movie theater ones. Yeah, right? That'll fit great in my garage.
No, I think movie theaters are a dinosaur, and it's not that I don't enjoy it, and I don't think people like to go out. It's just they don't make a lot of money. They only make about 40% of the movie ticket itself. The rest goes to someone, the movie. So that right there is just crazy. Even if you go to, like, when I went to Top Gun here, and one of the, I think the second day it was out at the one in the mall here. I think is it Grandscape with the one you could eat in?
Yeah, Frisco. It could have been Stonebriar.
It could have been
We're talking Frisco,
but
Texas
I was in the one
places.
where you can have dinner and stuff. It wasn't even sold out. So that's weird, right?
Wow.
So, and I know Top Gun is probably the biggest, right? And that's
biggest one this year, at least.
Especially, that's probably one of the nicer ones. So that it was almost sold out. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't.
You expected to have to wait and maybe have to go to the next.
Not being able to go to it. So, and I got to it. I think people just, like you said, it's Netflix streaming where everything else is. Then you see Disney with it. Disney isn't making these huge productions. Like, look at Star Wars. They have like the little
series.
the
I love
little
the
baby
series.
Yodas
Yes,
and the Mandalorian.
that was a great
and now
series.
they got
Everybody got into it.
They got spin-off of that now with Boba Fett and all that. So they're making these little small series, and they cost a lot, but of course you make money. If I can sell a movie to a streamer for $3 or $4 and have no overhead or not have to send it to the movie theater, I don't really have to. And I think in the future, that's where we're going to go. I think right now, sound, and a lot of people don't have the nicer TVs or things like that. But, some of us remember when a flat screen, like the one behind you, that would have cost like $5,000 when I was in college.
If you went to somebody's house and they had that, you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, they have a flat screen TV."
Like,
now people put these in their backyards.
You show a kid a box TV, now they're like, "What's that thing?" It's like, but yeah, now you can get them they got them at Walmart for like $300. But so as all this continues on, and they're actually in their computers now, they're not monitors; they are 100% computers in the back. So you might have some of these Regals and people go into there and actually sell it. So this isn't happening yet. You have they have the deals where the movies go to maybe get released on Amazon a little early because they have a little deal with them or something like that, and you pay for it to watch it on that. Will we see a company actually try to partner with one of these streaming services, let's just say Regal or whatnot, to do that, to actually say, hey, this is now the movie. If you want to watch this, this is what it is. Now, the question is how much do you charge for it? They usually charge like $20.
I'll pay it. You're saying $20 when if I go to the movies, it's going to be $100.
I know, but what if you got 90 kids in there? You got a webcam that counts kids or something. But I think that's probably where it's going to go. It's just the margins I don't think are going to be there. We all see COVID made it even worse. It was already dying. Because even like you said, even before that, people were worrying about it in 2019 where movie theaters were going because they were sucking. All these people were getting bought out, already filing Chapter 11. And then COVID hit. That was just like a 1-2, right? So coming out of it, you might see a surge of people wanting to get out. And I think that's kind of it. Although COVID's not over. That's another question. But, is it ever going to people rush to it? And then without that, you have other nations that are getting into their movie Hollywood. You have India over there
really
with Bollywood just flourishing over there. Even
Bollywood's killing it.
I'm watching subtitle movies now on Netflix. They're getting a lot better. So what's that going to do to our over here? Because now maybe they won't be purchasing a lot of those movies over there to watch in the theaters or watch their own. So now streaming might be the more practical solution.
Sure.
I'm not a movie guy. That's your area.
Yeah, I just
feel that in 10 years, a movie theater, it's not going to, there's still a drive-through.
It's going to be like drive-in. It's going to be like going to a drive-in.
Yeah, so there's still a drive-in, which I love. Well, I don't even know if it's still there. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and we used to go out to stage and go out to the drive-ins. But then there was no drive-ins. I was like, I still got one in Memphis. And you listen to that crappy music.
Yes, but it makes it fun. It's fun.
But it is what it is. So I think it might be like that. It might just be onesies or twosies to meet demand. And that's it. And I think even Disney and things were talking about the pricing.
Absolutely.
The price has to go up in the movie theaters. But then streaming's it's flat. So the cost isn't there for the consumer. So if you're charging me $30 to watch, not to watch it. You're charging me $10 to watch a movie, but you're charging me $30 for popcorn and a drink.
Yeah. Not worth it for me.
It's not really worth it.
The popcorn is, but we already discussed that. So
essentially, $200 to take your family out in 5 years.
Yeah.
I can just go buy a new TV and watch it.
Hello.
So
yeah.
I think that's where it's going to end.
Speaking of Disney, Disney's looking into a membership program for its customers. So the program will be similar to Amazon Prime, with customers getting advantages like discounts or special perks to encourage them to spend more on Disney streaming, theme parks, and even merchandise. Walmart-owned Sam's Club is raising its annual fees this fall from $45 to $50, and its higher tier plus fee will hit $110. Now, that's the company's first price hike in almost a decade for its regular membership, and plus fees haven't changed since 1999, so they were due one. So this is cool. SpaceX is teaming up with T-Mobile. You've probably heard this. T-Mobile is going to use SpaceX's Starlink satellites to provide customers with network access in parts of the U.S. Now, the goal is to end the need for cell towers and offer services where cell coverage doesn't currently exist. SpaceX already has nearly 3,000 Starlink satellites in low Earth orbit. Apple employees are launching a petition over the company's plans to return to the office. Apple wants many of its workers to return to give back in at least 3 days a week, but employees say it could poorly affect their well-being. I mean, who wants to go here? Look at this place. Yuck. If you're listening to the podcast, you got to check it out on YouTube. But let me tell you something, Greg, and I know I sound old. Most people want to work in an office like this with no windows, but even if you do have windows, they most certainly are not in an office that's whole purpose is to give every employee an amazing view of beauty. Call me crazy, but most people would just be happy to have a job at Apple in the first place. I mean, I was in a cubicle.
I think COVID taught people that they could do things from the house, but I think it's also a generational switch.
It's definitely a generational switch.
Every generation is more lazy. Okay, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say what's the new one. I'm going to mess it up.
Generation Z.
So Gen Z, yes.
There's another new one too.
You're lazy as crap. Okay, you are. You couldn't go out and do hard work if it saved your life, like do some construction.
Wait, let me find out that you're telling your kids, I walked in the snow uphill to school 20 miles.
My kid was the same way. I tell him to go do something. I don't want to do it, right? It's the same way, right? And I'm not saying that's all of you. I'm just saying 99%, okay? And now the same
99%, not everybody.
Not everybody. And it was the same way. My dad would look at us, millennials, and say, y'all are more lazy.
That's right.
Of course we are.
That's right.
And because technology.
We had air conditioning. Right? We had MTV.
When I was a kid, I couldn't stay in the house. I had to go outside and play because there's 8 of us in the house.
That's right.
If we don't go outside, we're going to drive mom crazy. She's going to get us switch and hit us.
You didn't have cartoons 24/7. You only could watch cartoons like a couple times
in the morning. Smurfettes came on at like 6, and then at the very end, you might have Captain Planet. Right.
That's it.
That was it.
Yes.
So other than that, you had to get out the house until someone yelled for supper or whatnot. Right.
That's it.
Street lights go off. Get back inside.
That's right. That's right.
Now, my wife's not letting the kid walk around by himself outside anyway.
I'm not either.
You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But
listen, I'm sure we seem insensitive, but I just think most people work in cubicles, and if you gave me a job at Apple.
No, but so now they're just like, I can sit at the house. I could do the same job. Well, the question is, if you can do it in your house, guess what? I can hire that person across the world to do it the same way you're going to do it for a fraction of the price because, I'm a coder at Apple. Yeah, the 12-year-old in Pakistan can code better than you. The 8-year-old in South Korea can. Why am I going to pay you now if I could pay them? And get this, since they're overseas and not a foreign person working in the United States, I don't have to pay Medicare or the Social Security part of when I pay their employees. So now I don't even have to pay as much on my side of the taxes. So even if I paid you the same, I save 6.5%.
Right.
So Gen Z and millennials and all the people that are crying about it, just understand your jobs are going away. Technology has been getting at us over and over and over and over. And if you're not a skilled worker, which means majority of people that are skilled workers went to a trade school or something like that. If you went to college, most likely a computer can do your job, all right? I've got multiple degrees, and look, I can do math crazy, but guess what? So can a 10-year-old with an internet connection.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So that's the problem, is you're going to become obsolete when they hire people elsewhere to do your job.
You make a good point. Well, this petition was shared online by Apple Together. Apple Together identifies as like this global solidarity union of workers company-wide. So there you have it. Okay, y'all, today's pro tip is brought to you by OptionsPlayers.com. Choosing the right broker for your stocks, your options, and crypto transactions, that's just actually really important, more important than you know, because Options Players suggest you research and test your top 3 choices and go for the one who is the most reliable. Even with a broker, it's important to learn the order entry software and process for yourself. You need to know how to place orders and how to find information quickly and proficiently before placing a real money trade. You don't want to be fumbling around trying to get a trade in and not knowing what you're doing and then fool around and miss a trade opportunity. Ease of use and quality of software are really important pieces to stacking gains and preventing unnecessary losses. So keep this in mind when you're shopping for a broker. We hope this helps you on your quest for maximum profitability. Okay, y'all, this is the part of the show where we get to hear from you. Send your questions and comments to www.optionsplayers.com or hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street. So, Greg, today's question comes from Georgia Alfredas at OptionsPlayers.com. Okay, honestly, this is broad, but I find these questions come up a lot in the OP chat and even in the comments section on our YouTube page. So, here we go. Number one, this one, I see this all the time. So, huge mistakes every trader makes. Wait, I need a list. So maybe like your top 5.
All right. So I think it's different personalities will have different issues here. So I'm not even going to give you I'm going to ask you, what do you think one of the top 5 are?
Not having patience.
Okay. That is a good one.
Okay. It's not top 5.
What would we really say? Not having patience.
It's not top 5, okay?
Okay, it is, in a way. If you say a plan, right? You want to wait for this plan. So it's not number 1.
That's my issue.
No order.
I don't have patience.
There is no plan,
Okay.
and then not the discipline to stick to it. So a lot of people will say, oh, I want to buy this or I want to buy that. Number 2, patience, maybe this is what you're talking about, is everybody thinks they can get rich in 5 minutes because they saw on TikTok some dude made $1 million. Look. Yes. I can normally turn a very small amount of money, that might be a few $100s, into $5,000 or $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 pretty quick. But the problem is it might not be so scalable because now I have to risk more of it. And if I lose $100, I can just put another $100 in it, so I could take more risk at that level. But once you get higher, it's not the case, and people just continue. So if you want to say people just want to get rich really quick and expect that,
and then that's like gambling.
Okay, you watch TikTok, you watch some YouTube, you even came to me and I taught you a little bit of something. And somehow now you think you're going to be the best people in the market. Come on, like serious? You're not Einstein, brother. You didn't invent the wheel of trading. If you're beating the market, you should be happy. And that's not what, let's beat up these millennials and Gen Z again. It's not what they want. They want it now. We're the microwave people. I got $100,000. I need to make $1 million. How do I get it? I don't know. It's definitely not investing like this. It's probably something illegal. Okay. I'm just going to say, if money was that, everybody would have it. So you got to understand, patience to make the money. It needs time to grow.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So that's one.
Okay.
So understand that you just got to be realistic.
Okay.
The other one, planning. Nobody plans, and then they don't write it down. So let's take planning, training, and everything in. You do your research. You spend time on it. So you should know everything about what you're about to invest in. You need to know, okay, this is where I want to get in. This is where I want to get out. This is what I'll do if this happens while I'm in it. This is what I'll do if it goes this way.
So strategically, you need that plan.
It could be
like
once I get 20%, I don't want to sell it right away because I don't want to pay capital gain tax. I want to hold it for a year so I pay less tax, right? So maybe I secure it with some type of put or a collar. That means I'm selling a call and buying a put to lock in that profit and just let it sit for a year. So that way I pay less taxes, okay, at the end of the year. Because for me, do I want to pay 39% tax or I want to pay 20% tax? Common sense, right? Mm-hmm. And with that planning and everything, your tax planning, you can't always outsmart the market. So beating the market is hard. Beating the tax man is not. And what I mean that is you have to understand what you're going to be taxed. 1%, 2% extra on the tax, you need to know how to do it because that's an edge. Okay. And you're not cheating the system. You're not finding a loophole. The tax laws are there because the government wants you to invest into this, right? Because tax law isn't there to give money to rich people or to poor people or anything. It's written its way it is so you spend money or you do certain things that the government wants money to be put into so they don't have to put it in, right?
Got it.
So it's basically like subsidizing it by, people that actually want to subsidize it rather than actually throwing the government money in it on some.
Okay.
All right. So that's 2. Planning. I should have probably made a list. All right, so planning. So we got, all right, don't worry, I got a little bit of TBI. Right, so we got planning and then trying to go crazy. Emotions. It goes back to emotion. But if we really got to go number 1,
Emotions would be number 1, emotional trading.
And I can say emotional trading, someone that doesn't have a plan. Well, look, I can trade without a plan all day long and be technical about it. But even I fall into that emotional. And
Greg, you know damn well you ain't got no emotions.
I get emotions all the time. But it's the success leads to your failures. And what I mean is oh, I won all these. I got $1,000. Now I got 10. I'm going to keep doing the same thing. Well, I can tell you how many times I've probably gotten an email or the what's his name? The teleprompter guy has gotten an email about someone who's made all this money trading options and then lost it all on like 1 or 2 bad trades because he thought his success was just going to continue and it was never going to fail. But the problem was he was just lucky.
Yeah.
You know, or you would have known I shouldn't be putting all this risk all on this.
Yeah.
And that's the problem
Okay.
is they think their success is going to continue to lead to success. They don't understand risk management. And in the end, they think history is going to keep repeating itself and they get destroyed.
Okay,
right?
so emotions. All right.
Emotions.
Got that.
All these kids that bought all these GameStop stocks and all this meme stuff at like $200, $300, and now it's like at nothing. Although it's at 100, but it did a 5-to-1 split, so it's worth nothing. All right. Yeah. Sorry, told you so. You know, but it is what it is. So that's 3, I think, maybe 4.
One more. Give us one more.
Well, I can keep giving you them all day. So journals. All right. So you have.
I was just gonna say you need a journal. Oh, okay.
So every good company or employer, whatever you do, you have some form of going back and seeing how you perform. A performance review.
History,
If you're military, you have after action reviews. Like, hey, this is what happened. This is what happened. This is what I wanted to happen. This might have caused that. How would I do it again if I had to trade it again?
Yeah.
So you know what you wanted to happen, what actually happened, how you would trade it if you got the same setup again, and issues around it. And then you learn from that, and then you continue. It might not help you in the next one, but it might show, like, hey, so I teach a little scalping class, and people are like, well, how's that work? Look, I'm just grabbing 10 cents a contract. I don't care if it costs $2.50 a contract, which is $250 or less per contract. I just want 10 cents a contract. That's $10 for a contract. So say it's $100 if I get 10 cents and I have 10. And I can do this 50 times a day, right? That's it. And I'm only holding it for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I have a thing where if I'm holding it longer than 6 minutes, I just need to get out. If I'm profitable, I'm just getting out. And if I'm not profitable, I really need to be just getting out, even unprofitable, just to try to save face here. And the reason why is when I go back and I look at all my trades, I noticed I want my average loser to be about the same as my average winner or less. But after 6 minutes, my average loser triples in the amount that I lose.
Okay.
So for me, I can say, hey, I'm losing because I'm holding this too long. And is it just to time? I'm not saying there's theta that's coming out. That's not really the issue. The issue is I had a plan, most likely, even if I didn't write it down, in my head of what I thought was about to happen. Let's just say I have a trend line or something like that for all you technical analysis guys. And I thought it was going to bounce off that trend line and go here. Well, in 6 minutes, if it would have done that, I would have made money. But now in 6 minutes, it's not doing that, but I'm still holding it. But I expected it to happen right then. You get what I'm?
Yeah.
So in that instance, I should have known I need to sell it. It's not doing what I want to.
Yeah.
So
and if you'd had a journal.
If I had a journal, I can learn from those mistakes and go back. There are some audit software and some brokers you can actually go back and look at your efficiency.
Do you suggest that?
Well, if you can't go back and say, hey, my average loser is this, my average winner is this, is how long I held my winners, is how long I held my losers. If you can't, in your scalping or if you're day trading, you should know all that because it's like fine tuning. It's like a baseball player. You're fine tuning your stats. I miss at curveballs. I need to work on curveballs. That's what it's going to tell you.
Got it.
So you can look at that. But overall, that issue is, you can say what it is, but with the journal, you don't know it. You got to learn from your past. Journal, every professional is going to keep it. Most professionals are required to keep it. Because if the SEC comes down and says, hey, why'd you buy all this? I'm going to be like, I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Better flip that and show my analysis and why I did it. I would have had a trade sheet that I had to hand in to the boss who had to sign it to make the trade. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that book gets saved. SEC comes down. I'm like, here you go. This is why.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay.
All right.
All right. So I have one more. And,
All right.
Okay. And I knew all that, what you said. That's the list I had right here in my head. Okay. So here's another one that I see all the time. And so really quickly, what's the right age to start investing? And I know I'm giving you a very broad, because I see it all the time. I look at
It's easy. Youngest as possible. I think we all fail to say, I learned about investing when in high school, long story, and gotten some trouble and had to go to a special class, but I was AP everything, right? So they had no class for me. So the teacher taught me how to invest. Hey, best mistake I ever made, right? But even then, I really didn't have the money, and I spent it on other things. I didn't really invest. And then 5 years went by, and then 10 years went by, and I really wasn't investing. I had, pension from military, thrift savings, just stuff that just came out.
Yeah.
But I really wasn't investing, taking 10, 15, 20% out and really investing in things. And now if I could go back, you're like, oh, if I put away this much money, I would have $2 million now. Why wouldn't I do that? So you wish you can go back in time and slap your young self and say, hey, man, you know what? That cool 10 on that Mustang really wasn't worth it.
Could have bought Apple stock.
We could have bought this instead. It would be worth a lot better now. So I think that's it. How do we do that? I don't know why we don't teach money to kids in school. And I know I don't want to get political about it, but I just don't. What is the one thing that you have to understand how to use in life?
Yeah.
It's money.
Yeah.
When I was in school, we actually had to learn how to balance a checkbook and things like that.
Yeah, but you didn't learn. I learned that when I was a senior. Like that was a senior class.
But they don't even teach that anymore.
Yeah.
Kids don't have checkbooks.
Who has a checkbook?
Yeah, right. But they don't even understand the balancing of it, right? So, but the future value of money, it's not a hard concept to understand that, if I put away this, it should be taught. And then you go to college and you think, hey, a liberal arts degree or something like that. A liberal arts degree is just abroad. What almost everybody used to get. Now it's kind of dumbfied. Everybody thinks it's like this leftist degree. It's not. It's a leadership degree. Yes, it's got extra humanities. But a lot of people that go on to be like lawyers or something will get a liberal arts degree. All right. So in that sense, I think everybody should get that liberal arts foundation. And in there should be finance, money management. How are you going to do anything, especially as an employee or a manager, if you don't understand how capital works, or at least the bottom? So as young as possible. Now, I understand you want to spend your money, and it's this fine balance of having fun now versus having fun later. All right? I don't want to say it on TV or whatever, but the amount of money you have at certain parts of your life will dictate a lot about the future of your life. I'm just going to leave it there. And boys, men, whatever, the more money you have, the hotter your girl's going to be, the better your car's going to be, and everything else. So if you don't plan on getting married until you're like 35 or something, you better start investing young, because then you will still marry that same 22-year-old. You will just be 35
oh my
instead
gosh.
of 20.
All right, so if you got questions or comments, hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street or on our YouTube page. And of course, you can email us at WNW@OptionsPlayers.com. The thoughts of Greg are only Greg's, so send them to, I forget how they do that anyway. I should know. Okay, so the term silently quitting has been trending, but hello, I feel like people have been silently quitting forever. Maybe it was more like quietly working, but these youngins need to watch Office Space. Are you kidding me? I guess it's new to young millennials and Generation Z. Remember Peter? Oh my God, it was the best movie ever. Okay, so this is probably why this TikTok post has gotten a gazillion views. Watch this, guys.
Recently learned about this term called quiet quitting, where you're not outright quitting your job, but you're quitting the idea of going above and beyond. You're still performing your duties, but you're no longer subscribing to the hustle culture mentality that work has to be your life. The reality is it's not, and your worth as a person is not defined by your labor.
Okay, this TikTok video has gotten like I wish that the camera had been on Greg. This TikTok video has gotten like 8 billion gazillion views. So if you're listening to the podcast, you got to check it out on YouTube, on the Options Players YouTube channel to actually see the post. Now, I want you to listen to some of these. Can you show me, scroll up and let me see some of these comments that people were writing? They are hilarious. Look at my fiche wrote, I quietly quit 6 months ago, and guess what? Same pay, same recognition, same everything, but less stress. Atlas10386 commented and said, even when I do this, I'm still outperforming 90% of my coworkers. Classics wrote, the only thing hard work gets you is more work, and the journey begins now, wrote, you definitely get an awakening at how pointless building someone else's dream really is. Y'all know what? I'm totally not against this quiet quitting. Some of these guys have some really good points. The pandemic created major work shortages because some people did not quietly quit. They just quit out loud. So people are being asked to do more while getting paid the same or maybe even less. Look at these teachers. We got a teacher shortage. I feel sorry for them. But not to mention, we actually have to go into the office and wear clothes that don't have drawstrings. That sucks. Something else the pandemic encouraged was the side hustle. Look how many people were able to come up thanks to crypto. Well, some lost their butts, but still, I think the companies that are going to come out ahead during this post-pandemic era will be the ones who can offer their employees more than just a paycheck and health insurance. But then again, I think the average person would love to only have to come into work like 3 days a week, but that's obviously not true for Apple employees, as we talked about earlier. Let's unpack this a little bit, Craig. Is this a case of companies giving an inch and employees taking a mile? What is your take?
Let's destroy these kids. All right, so first off, yes, it's there. Sometimes you just have to have certain jobs, regulations, stuff say you got to have this person here, you got this. But they're all going to get replaced sooner or later. Yes, you could do it now, but sooner or later that the boss is going to be you, and you're going to be like, oh, well, I did that too, so stop doing it. And then then your boss is going to be like, well, how can we save money? And you're going to be like, these people ain't even working. Don't think
it's the office space all over again.
Exactly. So they're going to get it, but then they're going to fire all those people. I can't say the company's giving them an inch and mile, because if you tell people they got to work harder, then they go on and be like, you just want my labor. Of course I do. I'm paying you for the labor. Do the damn labor. I don't know what to tell you. But now there are companies that take advantage of you and do things. But for instance, silent quitting is theft. So if you work for me, although I don't have one of those companies, and you didn't do what I told you to, and for 6 months, hopefully I would know because I don't have that big of a corporation, and you just kept getting paychecks, I'm not going to court. We're going to go down the street and settle it.
Greg, are you telling me you have never I get these kids.
I had
you have
a
never
government job.
Quit.
Okay. So I was about to say this.
Enough said.
In the government, I'm about to destroy government workers. I'm so sorry.
My mom worked at the post office and she worked.
They will do the very bare minimum for the pay. And I understand. I'm not going to get mad at you. I blame the managers for not firing you or not paying enough to get regular people. I'm for that. And the people that do work harder should be promoted. And that's not always the case. It's a lot of times popularity contests.
That's right.
Now, government employees. All right. Military, all the government employees, contractors I worked with. All right. At some point in your career, you're high enough rank and you're about to retire, you don't have to do nothing. Now, for me, I had COVID pandemic during this period of time. So I don't know if I went to work for a year.
Yeah. So,
right?
So you talk about these
but
generations.
The military
didn't
want me to go either. And I did go in for some training, but I didn't really have to. So you do see that a lot of times where people just coast out. And then you have government jobs that are just like the craziest thing on the planet. Now, everybody that's been in the military that goes and see all these civilians and things like that, you know who I'm talking about, okay? It's the lady that goes, oh, okay, it's not my problem. It's the name. It's your department. It's in the name. You're supposed to handle this. What do you mean? I don't know how to do it. Yeah. I just work here. You're
Motor
the
Vehicle
only one that works
Association
here.
comes to mind.
30,000 people on this base. You're the one that's supposed to handle it. What do you mean? You can't do nothing. And it's the worst, all right? So a lot of ex-military go into government jobs, so they're already retired, so they don't really need the job. So you get what I'm saying? A lot of them do it to help soldiers and help that. Good job. The rest of them just want that extra paycheck. And going from the military to a civilian, I'm going to tell you this. In the military, especially as an infantry grunt, special operator, something like that, you wake up, you work out for an hour and a half, you eat, you go work out or do whatever, mop, sweep, whatever, depending on your job. You're really not doing anything military related. You can go eat. Then you come back and probably have PowerPoint by death for like 2 hours. And then you go eat again. And then you go home or whatnot. Okay, that's your day.
Okay.
But then when you have to work, it is no sleep, work. Yeah. And then when you get to the civilian side, as I found out, nobody works. Like I can do more than, I'm in finance, accounting. I can do more in 30 minutes before these people wake up than they do all day long. So all these Gen Zers like, I'm just quitting. Like I just did your job and 90 other people's jobs. So it's going to come, sooner or later, going to be a task-based system. But then we're going to talk about real government workers again, okay? The ones. Who's an accountant for the government? Who is this for the government? It's the person that couldn't make it in the civilian field. I know I'm going to get this.
Oh.
Because if you wanted to succeed in your field and you were really good at it and you wanted to get better, you would be making way more money than what the government will pay you. The government pay scale is the same for everyone. It's on there. I mean, there's different levels of it, but you're not making hundreds of thousands of dollars being an accountant or doing this or doing that. You're getting very little. So if you were really good at your job, you would be in the private sector making $500,000 because you're useful. You provide a value. Now, for those in the government job, I'm sorry if that doesn't mean you. If you're out of college trying to gain some experience or something, okay, I'm not going to beat you up. But your goal, however, people's different success means different things, right? You could just be happy there and you're good with your life. I'm not going to beat you up on that. But most people, you know who you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Everybody in this government job knows exactly who I'm talking about. They just sit over there and they do absolutely nothing because they can't be fired because the biggest union on the planet is government employees. That's right. All you got to do is go to your local DMV and watch them work and explain to me how that DMV only got 50 people through there all day long and all they had to do was take some photos, right? And then in Louisiana, actually, you can actually
have to get in.
Well, they allow other third parties to do it, companies to do it now.
Oh, wow.
And they do it 10 to 1.
See.
In my DMV, I like y'all. Don't get crazy. Y'all are pretty quick. But we all know what I'm talking about. There's 5 people there and
go get in this line. Oh no, I can't help you. Go get in that line. Oh, go get in that line.
Or you know what? You don't even have to go to it. Just call them.
Yeah.
And it's the same way now in the VA. I call certain VA people, they'll answer, and I call other ones. Leave a message. We'll get back to you. The waiting time to get back to you is 2 to 3 weeks. What?
Right.
Make an appointment, it takes 3 weeks.
I think what I'm getting from you, Greg, is that we should have these Generation Zers go get a government job.
Yeah, I mean, they can. That's what it is. They'll fit in perfect for a while. But, I mean, I look at it this way. If the work has to get done. So my problem is if you're not doing it, who's doing it? They either hired more people, or which makes it where they can't pay you more, or someone's picking up all your slack.
Right. But see, I think companies are going to have to do more. And then the person
that's picking up that slack is also going to complain about doing everything and the company's mistreating them and making them doing more. And the only reason why that's happening is because you're over there silently quitting while they're having to cover you.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like companies are going to have to do more. And I feel like Apple, I don't know who does more than Apple. And their employees still don't want to come in. But, it is what it is. I guess, I don't know. I don't know. Go watch Office Space, kids.
They're going to get replaced with someone 5,000 miles away that will do the job for $3 an hour and do it just efficient.
Maybe we all just got lazy during COVID and we're like, you know what? I'm not going back in. All right. I want to thank Greg Krause, lead instructor at OptionsPlayers.com. We went off on a whole another tangent, but thanks for being with us here today, Greg. Remember, if you have questions or if there's anything you want us to talk about on the show, email us at www.OptionsPlayers.com or hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street. Catch up on past episodes of What's Next Wall Street on Options Players YouTube page or listen on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. But make sure you subscribe and hit the alert button so that you get current trending info just as soon as it drops. I'm George Alfredas. We'll see you next time on What's Next Wall Street.